this could have a major effect on the viewership for both WWE and AEW. If you guys do not know what is going on, a new Nielsen system is reporting accurate ratings for both WWE NXT and AEW Dynamite. And normally this new system is supposed to help the viewership for both of these shows, but instead it actually affected these shows in a negative capacity. I'm yours truly, Flamin' Ricky DeRays, and these are my thoughts on the new Nielsen system affecting both WWE and AEW. Before we get into all this craziness, please make sure to like and subscribe to the Wrestle Havoc channel right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the friggin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, episode 23 of the Wrestle Havoc podcast is up on the channel. The link will be in the description below. Okay, we got to talk about the ratings for both AEW Dynamite and NXT. If you guys do not know, both AEW Dynamite and NXT hit record lows in viewership last week. NXT last week averaged roughly around 572,000 viewers on the CW, which is down 19% from last week under the old system. And if you compare this to AEW Dynamite on its normal time slot drew its lowest rating ever last week. AEW Dynamite last week drew 465,000 viewers last week, and a 0.09 in the 18 to 49 demographic. And this was a show that had a 30-minute overrun. This was a 2.5-hour show. Now, normally you would think that the audience would stick around, but I would probably assume that with those extra 30 minutes, the audience just dipped. Dynamite was ranked number 6 for the night on cable in the 18 to 49 demographic. This is very shocking, considering it's no secret that the AEW Dynamite ratings have been down, and they've been going down year after year. And around this year, they've been averaging roughly around 500,000 to 600,000 viewers. Nowadays, they draw 700,000 viewers in a good week. We are far behind the days where they draw roughly around 1 million viewers every week, which was their peak in 2021. And don't even get me started with the AEW Collision ratings. The ratings for Collision are a disaster. Now, granted, Collision has been preempted and been moving night after night, but normally on a Saturday night, they draw roughly around 300,000 viewers, sometimes even lower. I'm gonna be honest, I don't watch Collision, simply because of the fact that I just don't care about watching a weekly wrestling show on a Saturday night. Having a weekly show on a Saturday night nowadays in 2025 to me is just ridiculous. And I've stated this before on previous videos, but it's not 1985 anymore. We're not in the 605 era on DBS. Normally on a Saturday night, people will go out and have fun, or probably watch a WWE PLE or a UFC pay-per-view if there is one. And honestly, do you think people are going to be watching AEW Collision? I hardly doubt it. And this is coming from a diehard AEW fan right here. But why are these ratings so low? If you guys do not know, Nielsen is the one that tracks the ratings for all of these shows. And Nielsen has developed a system which tracks the ratings in a newer way. I'm reading this from The Takedown on Sports Illustrated. Nielsen, the global leader in audience data and analytics, recently made some major adjustments for how the company calculates television ratings and how they are having a major effect on the professional wrestling industry across the board. Until quite recently, ratings figures were calculated by utilizing the quote-unquote panel-only method. Nielsen has now made the switch to something called big data plus panel, and it has resulted in a significant drop in viewership numbers for both WWE, AEW, and other promotions, but primarily AEW and WWE, because those are the big two. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select asked around the industry and has learned that the new Nielsen rating system has been a topic of conversation in most locker rooms, and the results are being monitored heavily by every major company. There was one source in AEW who said that Tony Khan is well aware of the changes, how they work, and is adept at what they mean specifically, Sean Ross Sapp said in his report on Sunday. With AEW numbers, max streaming is not reported for Collision and Dynamite, and the actual viewership emerging from those is kept very quiet. Now, I know the HBO Max ratings are a big topic of discussion. It's actually kind of a running joke on the internet, which is hilarious, but we do not know anything about the Max numbers. Some people are saying that the numbers are terrible. Some people are saying that the numbers are great, but it's very interesting that Sean Ross Sapp is stating that the HBO Max streaming numbers are not reported for Collision or Dynamite, and the actual viewership is kept very quiet. Don't you think that's very telling? That is just me speculating at the end of the day, but it's very telling. Why are these numbers being kept very quiet? A source with Warner Brothers Discovery told Sean Ross Sapp that the sample size with the new system is still too small, and that Major League Baseball postseason games had a larger effect on AEW and NXT numbers this past week than anything else. Unlike the previous Nielsen methodology changes, not seeing a strong pattern yet of what will achieve growth with this expanded set of data, have seen some sports events go up versus what previous panel data showed, and others go down versus what previous panel data showed. Baseball has particularly benefited in a big way thus far, the WBD source said to Fightful. Now that is very interesting to say the least. Some ratings go up with some shows and some ratings go down with other shows regarding this new system. As this source from WBD stated, clearly baseball is doing big numbers because of this new system, and that wasn't the case before with the old system. But with wrestling, it has affected the business in a very negative way. A representative of the USA Network echoed those sentiments to Sean Ross Sapp, saying that it's way too early to try to understand and rationalize the new data. In another quote by Sean Ross Sapp, he stated this, and I quote, "Both USA and Warner Brothers Discovery sources said that there has been no discussion of cancellation," which right off the bat is absolutely hilarious. Like, I don't know why this is even a topic of discussion, but it's kind of funny that he mentioned that, with a WBD source chuckling about that constantly being brought up, which is funny because wrestling fans are the ones that constantly bring that up. We did not hear back from the CW representative or source regarding NXT, but the general consensus before the change was that the network was pleased with the results that they get from NXT. There has been some discussion with WWE and AEW about whether time adjustments have played a role, with both companies running inconsistent to their normal schedules in recent weeks. Some concern from WWE was also expressed that this new data could be used against TNA, as if they tried to secure a new media rights deal, but TNA president Carlos Silva told Sean Ross Sapp that such thing hasn't even been brought up during negotiations. I'm gonna be honest, why would WWE be so concerned all of a sudden about TNA? Like all of a sudden they give a shit. Like, yo, you don't give a flying fuck about TNA. Let's be brutally honest with ourselves. You don't care about them. But again, that's another thing that's kind of hilarious, to say the least. But what does this mean when it comes to these ratings that we are now getting? It is no secret that the ratings for AEW Dynamite have gone downhill year after year. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point. But ever since they moved to HBO Max in the beginning of this year, a lot of people were saying that their audience has actually grown with them going on HBO Max, which could very well be the case. But why are the ratings for Dynamite on HBO Max being kept so well in the vest? It's like they're hiding something. I don't know why. Are the ratings good for AEW on HBO Max, or are they bad? We have absolutely no idea. But on cable, year after year, the Dynamite ratings have been going down. And with this new system that Nielsen has in place, the ratings are going down even further. And the same goes for NXT. Now, it's no secret that NXT has consistently beaten AEW Dynamite in the ratings this year alone. A large portion of that has to do with the CW. The CW is network television. It's not traditional cable, and normally network television has a higher reach than cable television, so it's bound to happen. Plus, NXT and AEW are going head to head this coming Tuesday because AEW Dynamite has been moved to a Tuesday night this week, and they have their special Tuesday night show. Meanwhile, NXT has their crossover show with TNA, that being Showdown, taking place, and it's going to go head to head with AEW Dynamite. Me personally, I genuinely believe more people will watch the NXT show, because if there's one thing that AEW just does not know how to do consistently well, it's promotion. I mean, you are a wrestling promotion and you do not know how to promote next week's show. In my opinion, that's a big problem. If you compare the cards for AEW Dynamite compared to NXT, and look, I'm saying this as an AEW fan, and I don't even watch NXT consistently. NXT has a more exciting card than AEW Dynamite. I'm not saying AEW Dynamite's going to be bad. I'm just saying WWE is hyping up this show like crazy. And I'm definitely going to give the Showdown show a watch. But also, when it comes to this new Nielsen system, one thing that we need to point out is, how is this going to affect wrestling in the future? Because at the end of the day, wrestling's bread and butter are their media rights. Yes, wrestling is a live event business, but it's more than that nowadays. A large portion of the revenue that these promotions generate from are from their media rights deals. WWE has multiple different media rights deals for Raw, NXT, SmackDown, as well as their PLEs. AEW relies heavily on their deal with WBD. They signed an extension last year, plus, as of recently, they moved their pay-per-views onto HBO Max. These promotions rely heavily on these numbers, and they rely heavily on these deals. Who's to say when these deals are up and it's time to renegotiate, are these numbers going to be taken into consideration when it comes to these renegotiations with both of these companies? We're gonna have to wait and see. But that's just me speculating in a couple of years from now. Look, at the end of the day, the television landscape is changing consistently. More people are cutting the cord year after year, month after month. Hell, People are cutting the cord day after day. That's just the harsh reality at the end of the day. Streaming is starting to become more and more of the norm nowadays. Why do you think WWE signed a deal with ESPN? Why do you think they signed Raw to Netflix? Why do you think AEW now streams with HBO Max? Because streaming is starting to be the norm now. But these ratings are very, very, very telling. And what's crazy is that the numbers that NXT and AEW pulled last week actually makes the viewership for Raw on Netflix look good, because Raw and Netflix have been doing really low ratings for Netflix standards, which is crazy to think, but it is what it is. Is this a sign that shows that wrestling just isn't that popular with mainstream audiences? I have no idea, but these numbers are very, very, very telling. And it's not just geared towards one promotion, it's geared towards everybody. It's geared towards both WWE and AEW. And it's going to be geared towards TNA once they get their new television deal, because TNA getting a television deal is a matter of when, not if. But those are my thoughts on these ratings that we got last week for both AEW Dynamite and NXT. This is definitely something to keep an eye out for. Let me know in the comments down below on your thoughts regarding this new Nielsen system and how it's going to affect wrestling in the long run. And as always, please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications. I mean, look out for more videos right here on the Wrestle Havoc channel, which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And as the friggin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. And as always, it is yours truly, Flamin' Rick Ricky DeRays, signing out. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.